Thank you very much, Kevin, FEDI, CFRN and company, and also to CD Red team for giving me this opportunity to present this RED Plus reference document which is being compiled in India. And I'm still calling it a draft because it has been submitted to the government, but not yet officially accepted. And also I would like to doubly thank Kevin for giving me this opportunity just before lunch to earn a few curses from the hungry participants who really must be wanting to go for lunch, but Kevin stopped them for my presentation here. Thank you for that also. Now, in fact, when we go into the genesis of why did we really require this RED Plus reference document, it was almost 2 years ago that it was decided by the government of India that it is better that whatever information, documentation, submissions are available with the government of India, they should be compiled and brought in one place so that this document becomes a guiding document for RED Plus implementation in the country. And they constituted a committee, and of course the speaker here was chairing that committee for drafting that RED Plus reference document. And we did have almost every known expert in RED Plus who was in India at that point of time, and it did include people coming from different institutions like Indian Institute of Science. Of course, Thelma must be knowing Professor Ravindranath. So he was also a member of this committee. He's at number 2, just below me. And there were other persons coming from Indian Council of Forestry Research, from Forest Management Institute, etc., and from Forest Survey of India. Now, this is the list of the contributors, and we did add some more expert invitees when we thought that the group was not able to complete its task because of very specific subjects. So 4 more invitees were involved in drafting these chapters. Now, why did we really require this reference document? In fact, everybody who was talking about RED Plus in India wanted to know as to what the government's position on implementation of RED Plus in the country was. So everybody wanted to know, as we were hearing yesterday from George Conrad from Australia, and Reinhard also said that, is there any support for RED Plus implementation in the country from the government side? So we also thought that it was very important that government comes out with a written policy statement that it supports RED Plus implementation in the country. So it was necessary that these elements like policy prescription, like processes and methodologies, these are part of this RED Plus reference document. And also it also contains the responsibilities which different organizations will have to handle for RED Plus implementation in the country. Now this document basically contains 9 chapters. It runs into about 90 pages. It does have a customary foreword and executive summary and list of contributors. And the first chapter deals with the introduction and overview of the RED Plus status at the national as well as at the international level. The second chapter deals with the policy framework which is required for RED Plus implementation in the country. The third chapter deals with the definitions. As most of us may be aware that we really have not discussed the definitions which are figuring in their different texts of the decisions of the RED Plus in COP decisions. So this deals with the definitions, this chapter. The fourth chapter deals with the status of the current forest management in the country and the need of strengthening the current forest management to support the implementation of RED Plus. And fifth is the most important chapter which deals with the construction of National Forest Reference Level, which is really a very difficult job, which now I'm understanding, not so easy to do. And then sixth one, it gives the list of the institutions. It also gives the description about the safeguards which have to be there. It also speaks about the financial arrangements which need to be there to support RED Plus implementation. And it does also have a subchapter on drivers of deforestation and forest degradation and how these can be addressed. The seventh chapter, another important chapter, is about the MRV mechanism and the capacity building that will be required for putting this MRV mechanism in place for measuring, reporting, and verification of REDD+ performance in the country. 8th is capacity building, which is again an important theme, and it cuts across, in fact, all the chapters, because every chapter will require some kind of capacity building if we have to go for real implementation of REDD+. And the 9th chapter, the last one, deals with the research gaps which are existing there in the present knowledge of the REDD+ implementation in the country, and as to how these gaps can be addressed over a period of time. Now, what I will do is that it's a long presentation, but I'll go to the key points of each chapter, and then we can, time permitting, if you have any questions, then I would like to answer those questions also. So I will straight away go to chapter 1, which is about the introduction and overview of the status of REDD+ at national and international level. And I will straight away go to the key issues and action points, which you see at serial number 3. It was being felt in the country that India has been very active at the international level insofar as REDD+ mechanism was concerned, but it should be matched by the domestic actions also. And for this, it was thought that there should be a REDD+ reference document guiding our actions in the country. The second important thing which goes into this chapter is that to prepare the negotiators for future negotiations on the non-carbon benefits which have started now, getting attention of the REDD+ negotiators and the experts. And also the third one, which of course Thelma knows it too well, that India brought out this subject of conservation, but somehow this is getting lost in the distance which we are having now, that we did want that the countries which commit to stabilize their forest carbon stocks not really gain any quantum over a period of time. They should also need to be compensated, if not from the market mechanism, from some fund-based mechanism. The second chapter, which deals with the present national policy framework for REDD+ implementation, the key issues are that insofar as India is concerned, we consider that all the ecosystem services which come from the forest are equally important, and carbon is just taken as one of these services. It is not the most important service in the Indian context. And we also say that yesterday we were talking about the communities, what do they get out of it? Then it is stated in this document that the incentives which will flow in due course of time, all this will go to the local communities, provided they are having co-management of forest in that particular area. It also said says that the central governments and the state governments, we have a federation of states, we have got 30 states in our country, that they will have to come out with the guidelines which will guide as to how these funds have to flow, or the incentives have to flow from the central government to the state governments and down below to the local communities from the state government. Then MRV processes and methodologies should be finalized not by any one institute or individual, but it should be a consortium of technical organizations, which includes the Research Council, Forest Research Council of India, the Forest Management Institute of India, also the Indian Institute of Science of Professor Ravindranath, and the Indian Institute of Remote Sensing. All these should sit together and come out with the MRV processes and methodologies, which will be required for the REDD+ implementation in the country. And then also it says that looking into the future, that the country should start working on the MRV for other ecosystem services which are being discussed now, these NCBs. It should also be developed. Let's start work on that also, this document says. And it also guides that the National Forest Reference level should be a summation of the state forest reference levels. And in fact, we have some union territories which are the smaller administrative entities. Even their reference levels will be total, and the National Forest Reference level will be produced. And the Forest Survey of India is to be designated as the main national coordinating agency for preparing the national forest carbon stock accounts, which will be duly supported by the state forest departments and also the remote sensing centers in different states. The Research Council of India and the Forest Management Institute will take on the responsibility of building the capacity of different stakeholders, which will include right up to the local communities. And we also say that although the concept of REDD+ is the national level forest accounting, but sub-national level projects are also important. to understand the import of different elements of REDD+ implementation in the country. Now about definitions, I'll just touch here upon the definition about the forest. India has already given a definition of forest insofar as CDM A&R is concerned. But in REDD+ accounting, we are going to use the definition which the Forest Survey of India has been using consistently over a period of time in preparing the national forest inventories, as well as also submitting it to the UNFCCC. And that is going to be a little different than what we have the definition for forest for CDM A&R. And here it is given that according to the Forest Survey of India definition, 1 hectare of area, 10% or more of crown cover will constitute the forest under REDD+ for India. We are also working on definition of other elements like sustainable management of forests, conservation of forest carbon stocks, etc. But we are not really closing our mind to what the word is going to come about with for these definitions. But it's good that we start developing our own definitions, which will help us in future negotiations in the Climate Change Convention. And as I said that we could also have projects on specific REDD+ activities, which will make the implementation of certain elements of REDD+ more clear to the implementers. Now about the status of current forest management regime and what is required to strengthen it to support REDD+ implementation. Steps should be initiated so that the forest biomass is increased and thereby the forest carbon stocks. But this really cannot be done. We have heard in case of DRC that they do have a problem of fuel wood extraction. We do have problem of fuel wood extraction as well as animal grazing in our forests. So one will have to think of the alternatives which need to be provided to the local communities as an alternative to their fuel wood use, as also for their fodder extraction from the forest areas. And also the local communities as well as some states, they do harvest non-timber forest products from the forest. It will have to be ensured that the harvest of these NTFPs is within sustainable limits. And for that, a process will have to be initiated whereby the growing stock of NTFPs is also determined at the regular intervals of time. And this can be effected. The recommendation is that it should be included in the National Forest Working Plan Code. So by having that, they will start having the inventories of the NTFPs also in due course of time. Now, National Forest Reference Level, which is really a very tricky thing insofar as India is concerned. It's a very big country. We have got 30 states and about 5 union territories. But it has been decided that in case of India, the reference level is more appropriate than REL because we really don't have emissions now coming from the forest. On the average, it is basically the stocks which are getting added to the forest every year. Then it has also been agreed that the methodology that will be used for assessment of forest carbon stocks is the stock change method and not the other one, the gain loss method. NFRL is going to be a summation of the reference levels of the states and other subordinate administrative units. And this consortium of these organizations will work on the construction of the reference level. And here, let me add that it's not only that these organizations will come up with the proposal for the National Forest Reference Level, but it will have to have the consent of the state governments also, as also of the civil society at large and also of the local communities in general. Some of the states may have some kind of deforestation still going on, and in their case the reference level could be negative also. And this state forest reference level will again require building up the capacity of the states to come out with their own proposal for having this SFRL. Now, this chapter deals with the roles and responsibility of different institutions, and it goes right down to the local governance levels, which we in India call as panchayats and gram sabhas. These are basically the village level local governance systems which are placed in the country. And the key issues here are that countrywide sensitization and capacity building campaign will be required, including all stakeholders, which will be the State Forest Department, the local communities, the civil society, and also the other line departments as well, their staff. Most important is that sensitization of local communities is a must, because in many instances it happens that the local communities, they really have a distrust of new things coming in the forestry sector. To dispel this distrust, it will be necessary that adequate sensitization of these local communities is done. Then there should be guidance from the government, which should in fact prescribe as to how the safeguards can be adhered to. And the safeguards that we know, it is basically the biodiversity conservation in natural forest, as also the rights of the local communities and the indigenous peoples. And as I said that we should be having two sets of guidelines which will guide the flow of incentives from the federal government to the state government, and second set of guidelines which will in fact have the norms for flow of incentives from the state governments to the local communities down below. Now this subchapter deals with the financing of REDD+. In fact, everybody in India asks, when is the climate change money coming from UNFCCC, and then we really don't have any answer. So we tell them that you really don't have to wait for that money, but we can start on our own. And here under key issues and action points, it's cited that internal resources are also important and can be used for incentivizing REDD+ activities. And this is basically the additional central assistance from the Planning Commission, which deals with the national planning in the country. Then CAMPA is an afforestation fund which has been created in the country. Those funds can also be used. And then there are Finance Commission awards which come every 5 years from the Government of India, from the Ministry of Finance. And then we, of course, don't rule out the possibility of having external assistance like multilateral funding from JEF, EU, UNDP. And in fact, we also want Norway and Denmark to look a little more, east towards, countries which are big and do have, potential of big REDD+ mitigation in those countries. And the last one you say underline, because previously India had decided in principle that it will not be participating in UN REDD or FCPF initiative. But now the recommendation is that it should reconsider its participation in both these organizations, in these initiatives. If not really for getting money or technical support, at least it can share its technical expertise and also gain from the technical expertise which has been created in other countries also. Chapter 6 deals with the drivers of deforestation and forest degradation. Nothing much is to be said about this, because controlling these drivers requires big money, and it's not really an easy job to handle. So initiatives will be required to reduce dependence of people, local communities basically, on forest products like fuel wood, grazing, etc. And this will require alternatives to be put in place, which will require huge amount of money. It could go into, I should not say, but could be estimate of $1 billion. Now this chapter deals with the MRV mechanism and capacity building for having this mechanism in place. As I said that the Survey of India will be the nodal institute for MRV. It will also help with in consultation with other technical organizations to build emission factors and equations for calculation of below ground biomass and carbon in undergrowth, etc. That is moving from tier 1 to tier 2. Measurement cycle, the document suggests that let it be 4 years, but it will depend, because now BUR is 2 years and updating maybe every year, so it may need revision. Reference year is yet to be decided internally. Could be 1990 or 2000, but let the institutes decide on which year they want to choose. And National REDD+ Cell, which really exists in the Ministry of Environment in the Government of India, it would require to monitor the implementation of REDD+. And of course there will be, third-party evaluation of enhancement of forest carbon stocks will also be there. Now about capacity building. As I said, that adequate capacity building of all stakeholders, including the local communities, will be required. the Forestry Council of India will have to take lead in this aspect, again working with the Indian Institute of Forest Management and other nodal organizations who are expert in capacity building in the country. And it also says that ministry runs a number of its own internal schemes. One is the Integrated Forest Protection Scheme. Let the money come from there for building the capacity of different stakeholders in the country. And the last chapter, which is on the research and knowledge gaps and how these can be addressed. If you really, touch any aspect of REDD+ implementation, every aspect requires, some kind of, ongoing research. Nothing is perfect, so far. So everything will change, in 5 years. Our understanding of estimation, measurement, etc., will also change. So it requires continuous research. But one thing is there that we have to have the methodologies and the processes which are time and cost efficient insofar as measurement of forest carbon stocks is concerned. Calculation of emission factors for different forest types, for different tree species would also be required, and that will also require a good amount of research going into it. And of course, there was a demand from many research organizations in the country that the GIS maps should be made available to those organizations also, so that they can come out with their own estimates of the forest carbon stocks in different areas. So that has also been agreed to and included in this document. Now the last thing is that this is really not the part of the document, but when I presented this to the ministry last month, we really want to have an implementation schedule also, because otherwise it will become kind of a document with the government which will not really be implemented. So certain timelines have been suggested for different activities. For example, construction of National Forest Reference Level should be completed in 6 months. The comprehensive capacity building of different stakeholders right up to the local communities should be done in 12 months. Strengthening of REDD+ cell in the ministry will also be required. For that, we haven't put any time limit, because it's very bad if you put time limits for government to act upon. So formulation of guidelines for flow of incentives from federal government to the state government and state government to local communities should be done in 6 months. And it also says that there should be a provision of review of this document every 3 years, so that it can be updated in view of the updated decisions coming from the COP on this subject. And then there should be a monitoring committee in the ministry, in the government of India, which should guide and oversee the implementation of this REDD+ reference document regularly. So that was the last slide, I believe.
Thank you for watching. For more information, see cdred.org.